Speak It's Your Voice again this week. I have one special guest with me. It's my brother, Raheem. Say hi.
Hi.
I know, last year we had a lot of females, and I think some persons were wondering, do you want a man on the show? Yes, sure, of course. That's why I always tell you, send in your stories. If you want to be on the show, you can email me and we can chat and rap and talk about things. And today we're a bit casual. We're sitting on the ottoman today. Just a little relaxed. So our conversation today is basically going to be about, about abuse, but recognizing abuse. What are some of the, I should say, do you know what abuse is? If you were to look from the outside or look at abuse, would you recognize it? Do you think you would recognize abuse?
Well, for the most part, most people tend to portray more physical abuse than, emotional abuse.
And what do you call emotional abuse? What do you think emotional abuse is?
Demoralizing stuff. Like, I would tear you down emotionally by words, like making you feel inadequate.
So basically, like I agree with you too, because some individuals, they would verbally abuse you, yes, cuss you and pull you down, but then at that time too, it's emotionally abusing you, it's emotionally damaging as well. So I understand. Have you ever experienced any kind of abuse though?
For the physical part, no.
Because you would thump someone down.
Yeah. Emotional, verbal abuse, yes. When I was younger, people would tell me how big my head was, how funny my teeth looked, and how dark I was. Little did I know, these are the things that that were precious to me. Because you need the teeth.
Yes, basically. Yes, yeah. I understand you.
And saying that means that, you must know yourself. If you don't know yourself, then things that people say will hurt and affect you emotionally.
And would you say at that time you knew yourself though?
No.
Right. None of us knew ourselves at that time, because I was being told that my eyes are big like saucers and my lips look like a fish one. Woo. Stuff like that. I'm sorry. I was being told these things, so, and that affected me because it hindered me from looking at in the mirror, and then when someone complimented me, I'm like, oh, they're just lying or just saying nice things to, you ever felt that way? I mean, as a man, you ever felt like when individuals say things to you or compliment you because, you've been taunted so much about your teeth and about your dark skin and stuff like that, you felt like, okay, if I could change these things, it would be better.
Yes. Many times. Because after hearing that, you would start to tear yourself down.
Yeah. Self-destruct.
Correct. You're just constantly going about it, and then you become negative. Most of the time. Like, you will wear shoes, someone will say, oh, they look nice. I don't really think so, you just...
And you downplay it a lot. So what about relationships? I mean, how have that affected you? Have that affected you in any relationships? I know it has for me, like, being a verbally, and people, come on, we need to recognize abuse in this way where, when you say things to someone, whether it's your mother, your daughter, your whatever family member, or your girlfriend or boyfriend, if you say something that picks at them physically or at their intellect, it hits them and it comes off as abuse to them. Because if you're repeatedly doing it, it's abusive.
Sure.
It's an emotional thing that they have to then begin to get past.
And it also plays with their confidence.
It plays with your confidence.
Sure.
It played with my confidence. I don't know about yours, but it played with mine for sure.
Yes, it did. It really did, especially when it came to singing and what's not too. People would say, oh, you sound horrible. And only when I got big, I became more confident in my voice.
Right.
So I started using it more and allowing people to hear me sing.
Right.
But before, I would just sing to myself.
In the shower.
In the shower.
I understand that.
Still wouldn't hear me.
Exactly. But when it came to relationships, were you ever abused in any relationship with your partner that you've gotten into?
Yes.
In what way? What type of abuse was it? Well, you said it wasn't physical, of course, but
Yeah.
how then were you abused in these?
Verbal abuse.
Verbally.
Yes.
And what was said that you took it as verbal abuse?
Oh, how to say? I don't really want to get into the nitty-gritty of the situation. But
no, you can say just the words then if you
yeah,
want to. Right?
I was told, you feel that you are God's gift to women.
Okay.
You feel you are so important. You believe you are this perfect individual.
Right.
You feel that you think, but you get on my nerves. And I just can't stand you.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I think that a lot of us women, we do actually say that. But hearing it coming from a male, it is causing me to understand that that's verbally and emotionally abusing a man.
Correct.
Telling him that, you think you're God's gift, because men have egos, we call it egos, but that's part of their confidence as well.
Correct.
And I guess telling the man that, I can't stand you or stand to be around you.
Makes him wonder where he stands with you.
Okay.
So if he doesn't feel like he is in a good place with you, then he's going to be walking on eggshells around you, which is going to cause things to be more complicated. He's not going to want to open up more. He's not going to want to do much things with you.
And then he's going to end up opening up to somebody else.
Correct.
And then they will give all those words and those same things and stuff. But what, and it's interesting that you brought this up, because I found in relationships with partners, I think at some point when I got to the point where I'm frustrated or I got tired of being ill-treated and insulted and because insulting someone is abuse,
Yeah.
Verbal, or as we call it here, cussing them or using profanity every day towards them and telling them how they're stupid and they're idiots and stuff like that. That's serious verbal and emotional abuse.
Yes.
So we need to recognize when we are abusing each other, because hurting people hurt people. People who are hurting will always hurt someone else. Correct. And it keeps going on and on in a cycle. Sure. Do you think that when you were being put down, or as us women are being enlightened now, when you say these things to a man, if emotionally and verbally abusing him, it pulls him down? Correct. So when in that instance you were being pulled down, how did it make you feel though? I mean, being abused like that, how did it make you feel?
Yeah, honestly, it because I knew where I stand and it was not in a great place. So all of that came off of animosity. Okay. So
how did it make you feel?
It pushed me further away from it.
Right. And it made you feel how? I know repeatedly. Asking this question because men sometimes don't open up.
It made us feel useless, because if we are with you and you are saying these things and this is how you see us, why are you with us?
Okay, I got you. I understand.
I understand that some people we would make sport and we would tell one another some things when we are kidding around or what's not. But if you're being serious, try not to say these things.
Okay, I understand, because it brings down your self-esteem as a man.
Especially a person that is trying the best that he can, emotionally, physically, financially.
To be there for you. Correct. as a woman.
Correct.
Right. I mean, and not only coming from this point of a man, from women too. Sometimes when a man in a relationship, you constantly do things to hurt us women, whether it's cheating or being unfaithful, or if we are uncomfortable with you talking to another woman and we keep mentioning it, and you do the same thing repeatedly, it's emotionally and physically,
Yes.
taunting for us. So then we know as women we lash out.
Right.
We do lash out a lot. But then too, men need to recognize too that you are emotionally mostly abusing a woman when you ignore how she feels in a situation, when you ignore how she feels, as far as you're doing this thing repeatedly and it's hurting me. Stop it, please, because it's causing me then to lash out at you, as you said, and
right.
It makes you feel then useless, but then it makes us feel useless when you repeatedly ignore how we feel. It's like, and then I know that in some like relationships that I've been in before, that the men would do what they're doing and then they would blame me for what, the reason why they did it. Oh, it's because you. I know you. In every instance, it's not just as a justifiable, exactly, justifiable reason, as you were saying, to do what they're doing and put the blame on me. But I know
it goes for both man and woman. The
same thing, exactly.
If I ask a lady, I don't feel comfortable with you doing such and such, and you continue doing it,
right?
And so that means that I'm not that important to you. My feelings aren't that important to you.
Yes. Yes.
So that puts us in a frame of mind where man and woman, we drift, walk on eggshells until we had enough and say, okay, but that's it.
Right. And I know some men take it out in another, both women too. Yes. Some of them take it out as in, like, I feel useless with you. I'm going to find a way to feel worthy. I'm going to find a way to feel like I'm useful. I am somebody to someone.
Correct. Some men, mostly men, we drink.
Right.
They drink, they smoke, they go partying regularly just so they can have that mental block.
Right.
To how they feel when they get home. And some people just cannot be home.
And for us women, some of us, we do cry in a corner. We do cry a lot. But then some of us too, we do drink too. We do go partying. But then we lash out verbally. We do lash out verbally towards men. And I understand that is abuse as well. We need, as people, we need to recognize what abuse looks like. We know what sexual abuse looks like. We know what rape looks like. We know what physical abuse looks like. Thumping you, beating you, and we know what those, but we don't necessarily understand that the things that we say to the people that we love or we care about, even the stranger on the street, sometimes that can be verbally abusive to them, and you don't know exactly, you don't know what they went through, and then also what things that we say as far as can be emotional, like withdrawing. Yeah. I've been in a situation where my partner would have, like in the past, my partner would have pulled away. We're having a discussion or we've had an argument about something. There's one thing to leave a man to be quiet. I understand, to give him his space. But for days and weeks on end, we exist in the same space. There's no talking, no communicating, no good morning, no good night, no how are you, no nothing. Walking past you as if you are not there. Walking past you as if you're not there.
Like living with a pane of glass.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. So and it emotionally hurt. It hurts because it makes you feel like a nobody. It makes me then as a woman feel useless.
I understand.
And that then puts me in the frame of mind. Put me in the frame of mind of why am I here?
Correct.
So you see how the words that we say are abusive to you as a man,
right. But
then your actions as men, how it make us feel.
Correct.
So then we find an outlet, and you find your outlet. You understand? Right. So how do we know when to stop though? What do you think? How do we know? How should we as people or as partners in a relationship know when to stop the abuse or recognize it? It's not going to come just like that by just telling each other, you are hurting me, and you are and going the back and forth, because neither of us are listening to each other. Especially not when we're heated.
Right, mostly. The thing is, it's funny you said that. People putting effort where they want to put in effort. So if I'm with you and you're with me and we don't talk and we don't make that extra effort to make it work, that means our interests are not there.
Yeah. Yes.
It's not there as much as it was before or as much as the other person would like.
Yeah.
Because in the situation where love is given, it's a 30-70 situation or a 40-60.
Yeah.
It's never really a 50-50.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is come to an understanding and know if you want it to work.
Right.
So if you don't want, if a person, you know when a person don't want it to work.
Mm-hmm.
They don't talk. They show very little interest. They, even in a relationship, mostly in a relationship, they don't want to have sex. They don't want to talk about, they don't want to contribute, they don't want to do nothing when it comes to the other person.
Right. To make things better.
To make things better.
Yeah.
So
All right.
communicating is okay, but
yeah. The actions do have to follow.
And understanding must be between each.
So we have to choose to understand. So give us a second and we'll be right back. Guys, I need you to understand that coming from a man's perspective, as far as abuse, you know, our words as women, things that we say, can make, and that's probably what make a man change too.
Yes.
In a relationship, he becomes a different person.
Yes. Demoralizing makes a man just, okay, you want me to be the bad guy, and I'm trying to be great, or I'm trying to be better than I was. Okay, well, I can be the bad guy then.
Hence why the trouble escalates. So shoot us your thoughts, your ideas on what you think, and you know, you can always send in what you want us to talk about as well. We're not limited here anymore, you know, we're not limited our closing, our box thing to what we're going to discuss. Next week, we're probably going to be on the floor.
Who knows?
Who knows how it will be, you know, and who knows who will be here next week. Haha. So I thank you all for watching. Speak, it's your voice. It's time for us to speak up and speak out and really express ourselves when it comes to abuse, because it needs to stop. We need to, it really needs to stop. And I thank you for coming here with me today, Raheem, and I appreciate your views and your thoughts. I'm sure everyone out there enjoyed it, as hearing your thoughts as a man too. Right. And we will see you.
Yes, I hope everyone takes everything that we said into perspective and consideration for the other person in the relationship with.
I hope so as well.
I really hope they do.
Yeah. So we will see you again, or see you sometime next week. Bye.